Hello, Hidden Hermit here. How do you feel about changing the world with the Six of Pentacles? Six of Pentacles, it's a great card. It's one of those cards which generally across most decks hold the same meaning, which is nice. It makes my life easier trying to explain all this stuff to you. But we'll look at the Six of Pentacles today. Now, the Six of Pentacles is obviously it's a pentacle card, so we're associating that with Earth in the suit of Pentacles. It is also associated with the astrological sign of Taurus, which is represented by the Hierophant, and the ruling planet is Venus, which is in turn represented by the Empress. And these elements come into play and inform us of how the card should be interpreted, or how you may wish to interpret it. Now, the image on the card, and here's the Waitsmith, is a guy. He's clearly well off. He's giving out money to the poor. Now, quite a lot of the I tend to call it the charity card. So, and quite a lot of the keywords associated with the Six of Pentacles include things like generosity, kindness, material success, a good heart, sharing, give and take, support, being supported, benevolence, mentoring, accomplishment, social responsibility, cooperation, time of good fortune, teamwork, things like that. And the interesting thing about the Six of Pentacles is it's not necessarily instructing you to give away everything that you own. It may be informing you that you should be willing to receive things from others, because these things go in cycles. Things like money, success, material wealth, they do go in cycles, and the Six of Pentacles is here to tell us that it's a good idea to share that wealth whenever you can. If the card is ill-dignified or reversed, if you're into that sort of thing, some of the keywords associated are indulgence, envy, selfishness, wastefulness, jealousy, loss, ingratitude, favoritism, ambition, wasted chances, greed, and wishing for better results. You should be happy with what you get. So the interesting thing about the six is obviously it follows on from the five. The Five of Pentacles is this rather alarming image of the two destitute people walking across the threshold of a church window. And one of the messages I get from the Five of Pentacles is that idea of hope, that it is there if you're only willing to open your eyes and to look for it, or be open to charity, which is where the six comes in. I think it follows on really nicely. And I always like to think that the two characters in the five are the two characters in the six. Yeah, I know they don't look exactly the same. They look a little bit different. But I like to think that they are, because yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do what I usually do, run through a bunch of my decks. I think I've got about 20 cards to look through, maybe less. And we'll start with the After Tarot. Now, the After Tarot here, it's exactly the same. He's not being discriminating in who he's sharing his wealth with. And you've got the two characters from what I believe is the five. They're moving on. They're happy with what I've got. And I like to think that that's the Hermit. He's got a green shawl on. His cane is reminiscent. He's bearded. Do you know, even hermits need to feed themselves. But I do like the image. It doesn't actually add much to the idea. It just sort of reinforces that idea that we should be fair. We should be willing to share our wealth when we can, and it doesn't matter who is needy. Those who are needy, which is a sentence I realise does not make sense, but I said it, so there. So that's the After Tarot. We'll run through the traditional Waitsmith imagery first, as usual. That's what we usually do. This is the Mystic Dreamer. Again, you have somebody handing stuff out. The interesting thing about this one is there are two women here. One's receiving. She's being a bit foolish with her receiving. She's dropping coins everywhere. And there's one that's clearly sort of begging. So I don't know what's going on there. You've got the Pentacles prominently displayed across this church. Again, it's a church. I don't know if that's leading on from the five as well. Who knows? Now, unusually for the Six of Pentacles, Sorry, unusually for the Mystic Dreamer, there's no moon in this image. They like chucking moons in, which is very strange because the astrological correspondences of the Six of Pentacles is the moon in Taurus. And that's really important because the moon is what's known as exalted in Taurus. It rules, the Six of Pentacles rules the second decan of Taurus, so that's 10 degrees to 20 degrees Taurus, roughly the 1st to the 10th of May, roughly. And yeah, so the moon is like the guest planet, the guest ancient planet with this card, and it, like I say, it's exalted. It's a good thing that it's there. The moon, it's about flux. It's about change. The moon is always changing. So you're getting that idea again of you could be giving, you could be receiving when the Six of Pentacles comes up. And I really like that. It seems appropriately mystical for the moon to be anywhere, if you ask me. The moon also, I can't remember where I read it. I think it might have been the Book of Tot. The moon is the guest in Taurus, so she brings gifts. And you get that idea of charity again. So yeah, anyway, Mystic Dreamer, lacking a moon this time, bit weird, but hey, moving on. This is the Dreaming Way Tarot. Again, it's very, very reminiscent. In fact, even the clothing's almost the same on the characters. But what I'd like to mention here is the scales. You've seen the scales in all these cards already. And there's a few reasons for that. One is that idea of fairness again, of being just, if you like. Yeah, so you're being kind of lawful in a way, not in a legal way, but in a way to society. I think the Six of Pentacles does hold a very important lesson to the world, especially in the climate that we live in. In the 21st century, where there is a huge imbalance of wealth and there isn't enough sharing. And if only we could deal the Six of Pentacles to society. Who knows? Also, the scales represent Libra, which is another of the zodiac signs, like Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. So you've got another link there as well. I don't know how important that link really is, but it's a link nonetheless. Anyway, I'm just enjoying the artwork on the Dreaming Way here because it is very pretty. Okay, next up we got going through some of the prettier decks. Here's Shadowscapes. Now the Shadowscapes, as you probably know, it is a deck I feel is more geared to the art than the meaning, but I do love this image. So you've got this guy up here who's happy with his lot, and he's playing his magic flute, which is sprouting pentacles all over this wee sprouting flower here. He's sprouting pentacles on a sprout. I wish I can't actually get much closer without it blurring. Take my word for it, that's a plant. And this plant is growing and its roots are spreading out. And in the book that comes with the Shadowscapes, it suggests that there's a whole cycle thing going on here. His magic flute is providing this little sprig down here with the sustenance to grow, and in turn the branches are strengthening the precipice that he's sitting on. So you've got that mutable thing, that moon energy going on again of cycles. What goes around comes around to a certain extent. So yeah, I like that one. Here's the Line Strider. This is a crazy image. So you have this bird here who's offering his wares to this rat. It could be a mouse. It looks like a small bird. It could be, no, I think it's a rat. Nevertheless, this bird, I don't know, it looks like a lot of, in fact there are two birds in there. It looks like a lot. One of those birds is holding the scales, so we get that sense of justice and Libra going on again. It's a wonderful image. It's certainly a really good imagination that the Line Strider is a product of. So yeah, but again, the book tells us exactly the same as what we've been talking about. Charity, be prepared to share your wealth. Be prepared to accept it if you need it. Here's the Wild Unknown. Now, the Wild Unknown likes to focus on the idea of growth. And obviously you have a plant that's flowering here. And growth doesn't just mean physical growth. It means social growth as well. So again, repeating that mantra of once you got it, share it. It's good. It's good for the world. The fountain. So this is the fountain. It's a lovely, lovely image as usual. These sort of interlocked coins. You get that sense of abundance and growth again. The book with the fountain deck also adds to it. It could be, you could be being required to return a favor, and of course that is also cyclic in nature. If you do favors for people, you shouldn't expect a favor back, but you never know, when you need it, it might come in handy. So returning a favor is I think that's one aspect that I haven't seen in any of the other books or with any of the other decks. So that's nice. That's nice. Well, let's do the Hermetic decks next. So we'll talk about all that Kabbalah stuff. So the Six of Pentacles and the sixes in general are in Tippereth, which is the sixth sphere of beauty, which is in the scale of Asaya, which is the material world. So you have beauty, which may very well link up to that Empress and Venus vibe that you get going on with the whole suit. Did I say suit? I mean with Taurus. So the 5, 6, and the 7 of Pentacles. Here is the Golden Dawn Ritual Tarot. I think it's quite important that the hand there is white, the hand that's holding the branch with those roses that are growing along. Obviously the colour white is going for the moon there, so the moon in Taurus again. Kind of a bleh image, if you ask me. Here's the top deck. Now the top decks, again, it's... In fact, I'm going to go back. No, I'm not. I'm going to lay these side by side. Here's the Hermetic Tarot. It's given it its Golden Dawn full title, the Lord of Material Success. I don't know what's wrong with my... Well, you can read that from here. Whoa. Ooh. Oh, that works. Look at that. HD and everything. So yeah, you got a very similar image to the Golden Dawn Tarot with the Hermetic, with the hand holding... I think these are supposed to be lilies. Yeah, probably. You have the moon and Taurus again. You have that imagery, the Lord of Material Success. Top takes that a little bit further. You've got the colours of Taurus, the reds and the blues. You have the moon up there. But with the top, what's interesting is you've got the 7 alchemical planets displayed for you. And I know you can only see 6 spheres, but the middle one's the sun. The sun and the moon, obviously in the ancient world, were considered planets and are called planets, and in astrological terms that's what we call them, even though we know that they're not. But all the planets are represented there. So there's Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter and the Sun. And in the Book of Tot, it does say that the rose has 49 petals, which is 7 times 7, which again sort of strengthens the idea of the interplay of the astrological planets, if you like. I quite like that image, like I do with a lot of the Tot images. It's very, very striking, and the key word here is success. The Hermetic decks don't really focus on the charitable side of what some of these other decks and what they've been talking about. They do focus on the fact that it does mean success, it does mean abundance and wealth in a material sense. So it could even mean health. It doesn't necessarily mean money or houses or cars or microwaves. It could mean health, or indeed health of your soul, because that's a part of your physical plane, if you like. Haven't it? Here's the night sun, because it's almost a Hermetic deck. A mysterious image from the night sun. Again, you have the moon in Taurus up there. It's a cracking image. I do like it. You have the 6 pentacles on the ground there, by a tree that is bearing fruit. Now, I like to think that it was full of apples at one point, and that's been shared out to everybody else. But again, with a lot of the night sun images, it does take quite a lot of meditation to not so much figure it out, but to get that sense from it. But that apple is key. Let's see if I can get this in focus. Yeah, this isn't the funnest game in the world. I kind of want an apple now. That's really weird. Okay, let's move on to the dark decks. Now, This is from Royo's Dark Tarot, which isn't a deck I like to showcase. I'm not a fan, to be perfectly honest, but I do really like this image. So what you've got here are two. I mean, obviously they're naked because most of the people in the Dark Tarot are, but you've clearly got a good pure angel with a sort of a darker angel, and there's a sort of an embrace there. The book that comes with the Dark Tarot, for the Six of Pentacles, it says here, the honey of the shadows, the nectar of the fruits on the skin, the mercy of forgiveness, which I think is kind of lovely. So yeah, I just really like that image, so that's why I've added it into this one. And yeah, so this good angel here, she's not sharing anything material here. She's allowing forgiveness, which is charity in another way, I suppose. I'm going to try and linger on this image for as long as possible because it is very, very cool. But anyway, okay, moving on. Usually my curveball deck, here's the Archeon. It's quite plain and simple here. You have your coins, and I'm sure I've said this before, but it doesn't bug me so much. But I'm always willing to note that the Archeon deck has the suit of pentacles, but they're not pentacles, they're all coins. Whereas, you know, other decks, they have coins when they're... Like, here's the fountain again. 6 of coins, they are coins. Anyway, the Archeon book, it titles this card Like Gold at the Bottom of the Wishing Well. And it also wants to add that it could represent gifts, presents, a bonus, or an inheritance. So that's interesting. But yeah, it doesn't really shy away from established meanings, if you like, unlike most the rest of the deck. That naughty Archeon deck. Here's the Dark Grimoire. The suit of pentacles are referred to as shadows in this deck, and the book it has slipped my mind actually. No, it says something about the analysis and reflection necessary before deciding. So you're going back to that idea of the scales here when you're sort of balancing things out. But in the image, you've got people that are handing out, it's not money, it's bread, to these rather odd looking creatures that are clearly hungry. So you still got that sense of charity, you still got that sense of giving. And indeed, you know, if you flip it around, that sense of receiving, I'm sure all of us at some point in our lives are ugly creatures. Well, I know I am. Deviant Moon. Normal creepy image of the Deviant Moon. And in this image you've got the rich wealthy person who's come along to the cemetery. And he's come across a lost soul who yearns for the material world again. So he's found it in his heart, literally, because his hand's coming out of his chest to share some of the material wealth with this lost soul. Absolutely cracking image from the Deviant Moon there, as always. There's a moon there, but there's a moon in every image. I think there's a moon in every single card on the Deviant. I'll check that once I finish this, maybe. Here is the Quantum Tarot, and if I just shine the light, you can see that embossed image there. A hand that's displaying lightning, and the Six of Pentacles flying out with these coloured orbs in the middle of them. The coloured orbs represent hadrons, baryons, and mesons, which are just different combinations of quarks, really. Oh, I love that. That's so cool. And again, the meaning's the same. It suggests that all atoms are made up of quarks, in the same way that all humans are part of societies and cultures, and we need to be mindful to share things out every now and then. I knew there was a reason why I'm sitting underneath a really bright light, and this is it. It's for the Quantum Tarot. So yeah, I like that. I'm pretty soon, this is out of context, but pretty soon I'm going to be doing this for my Instagram daily draw. Now, you could very well be watching this years after I've done it, but I'm really looking forward to it. Just so I can do this. Ooh. Okay, so now we're coming on to our curveball decks. First of all, here's the Cosmic Tarot. Now, the reason why I put this in the curveball is, yeah, sure, you've got a guy, he's standing, he's on top of the mountain, he's on top of the world, literally, and the moon's very prominent in there, so you still have that lunar influence. And his 6 pentacles have manifested in, and he's clearly happy about it. But what you haven't got is that sense of sharing it out, that sense of balancing it out at all. He seems very pleased with himself. Now I'm hoping off this camera, not this camera, there's a bunch of people ready to receive these pentacles. Who knows? But that's why I've put this in the curveball pile at the moment. But still a nice image. Do like the Cosmic. Here is Santa Marate. I know I said that wrong. This very much is a curveball card. There is nothing in the image here to suggest anything that I've discussed so far in this 20-minute video. But what the book does suggest, now I don't know the relevance of the time. I don't know whether that's like exactly halfway through the day, but you have this pendulum swinging, and the book is telling us that you know, things do go backwards and forwards. So again, that kind of lunar influence, but the image doesn't actually reflect that in any way. As you know, every card comes with the advice of the dead, and the advice of the dead for the Six of Pentacles is, I've got the book here, see I'm cheating because I can't memorize this many words. Proceed with audacity and without haste, working hard and keeping yourself focused on the present. What you desire will arrive when the time is ripe. So that's interesting, because that kind of gives me a 7 of Pentacles vibe, and it also gives you that idea of now, do it now. Now, interestingly, in the earlier decks, like the Atelier deck, one of the attributes of the Six of Pentacles was a need for urgency, like do this now, which has been lost since the late 1800s. But well, the Santa Muerte's picked that up a little bit. So maybe that clock is representing now, but the pendulum is swinging our swinging fortunes in a way. Okay, finally, not so much a curveball, but just a little bit of fun. Here is the Game of Thrones Tarot, the Six of Coins. This is Varys, the spider, who, interestingly, in fact, I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here. Varys in the Game of Thrones Tarot is also the Hierophant, which is good because the Hierophant is associated with Taurus, which is what these 3 cards are associated with. Now, another interesting thing, and this is a sort of a 3-way tangent, looking at the image of the Hierophant with the 2 people that are receiving advice from him, and the image on the Six of Pentacles with the 2 people receiving something material from them, it kind of echoes it in a way. It kind of echoes that image. So I like that, yeah. We've got a nice little story going on here, thanks to Game of Thrones. But yeah, there's Varys. He's explaining to the woman that Tyrion does not want to eat his baby, and he just wants to give her some money. So again, you've got that charitable vibe going on there. Okay, I said finally, but really finally, the court card associated with the second decan of Taurus, which the Six of Pentacles occupies, is the King of Pentacles, which is Taurus embodied, this king with all his abundance. And you could very well argue that this is a young king that's sharing his wealth. They do kind of look the same, don't they? But yeah, that's the court card associated with this decan. So you still got that sense of earth and possessions and material good, the body, and to a certain extent as well. So yeah, I'm done. That is the Six of Pentacles. There's the message to change the world. I feel like I haven't, I feel like I've missed something, but no, I don't think I've got through my pile, so I think I'm done. So I hope you enjoyed me sharing my wealth of knowledge and decks. That's my way to manifest the Six of Pentacles today. I suppose I could speak very briefly about what does it mean if it comes up in a reading? And I think you really do need to focus on that either give or receive sense of the six. So, you know, you could very well need to give something away. And of course, if you're doing a reading for love, then it doesn't matter if it's a pentacle. The card itself can inform a love reading. It can inform a reading for anything. It doesn't necessarily have to do that. But I think the important thing with the interpretation of this card, and if you're intuitively reading a spread, is the idea of give and receive. Be prepared to do both, or what is needed in your situation. So yeah, okay, I think I'm done there. I am going to go. I'm not in a sandwich mood today. I think I'm going to eat a salad. Thank you very much. Bye bye.